Joining us now from Colorado are Virginia's brother and sister-in-law, Sky and Amanda Roberts. I really appreciate you both sharing your time with us here on Sky News. Thank you for doing so. I'm interested, you've had Sky kind of approaching 24 hours to digest the news of yesterday. How are you doing?
I'd say that's a little bit of a loaded question because we've had kind of mixed emotions. I think a lot of celebratory moments, but also really sad moments because she's not here with us. She should be sitting on this camera with you right now, celebrating this, but also demanding more justice, right? So I think it's a mixed bag of emotions over the last 24 hours, but we are just hell-bent to not let her voice die. And so we're here with you, and we'll continue to spread her message and be front and center here to make sure her voice is heard throughout this, I would say, celebratory moment.
Amanda, you said in previous days that you'd looked at the image of Virginia and you said out loud, we needed a win. Does this feel as though this step at least is approaching that?
I definitely feel that it's such a victory and such a win, not just for Virginia, but every single survivor who dared to come forward. You know, we had been reaching a moment where we had felt like we were pushing so hard, and especially in our country, we've just been gaslit and slapped in the face over and over again. And I was just like, man, Virginia, you know, something's got to give. And I can imagine that she's felt that so many times throughout her process and her fight for justice. And so I feel that, yes, this was a win. And you get so little in these circumstances, so we celebrate every single win.
When you say gaslit and slapped in the face, what do you mean by those comments?
Our country, our government, our president, our Department of Justice, our Speaker of the House has consistently gaslit survivors, called it a hoax. Mike Johnson said, oh, well, only 20 survivors showed up on the steps of Washington, D.C. to make sure that their voices were heard. Only 20? One is one too many. And it's quite disgusting and shameful the way that our administration has treated our sisters' trauma, the survivors' trauma. They dangled it like a political toy that they could use to get votes. And we're here now, and they kicked this hornet's nest, and now they're surprised that the hornets are stinging them.
You're nodding there, Sky. What do you think this action by the King here in the UK may or may not do in regards to the situation in the US and furthering this search, this fight for justice that you're looking for?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think the answer is that the King is setting a roadmap. He's setting a precedent to the rest of the world to say, I do stand with survivors. I am going to hold even my brother to account. But it's still not enough in the sense that he's still walking around a free man. I mean, let's not be naive that he's not going to be living on the side of the road here. He's still in a very, let's say, cush spot where he should be investigated. Let's put it that way. And I think that our government, to Amanda's point, is safeguarding these documents. They have it locked away in this little Pandora's box of people that are implicated, and we need to fully investigate them because Prince Andrew is just one of many that need to be investigated thoroughly. And so I think the King should put pressure on our government. He should put pressure on President Trump. He should tell President Trump verbatim, President Trump, put your big boy pants on and let's get these Epstein files released so that we can go after these monsters properly.
In their statement, the Buckingham Palace made reference to standing alongside and in support of victims and survivors. If Sky, the Palace, was to reach out to you and say that the King would like to meet with you in person, what would your response be?
I welcome that conversation with open arms. I would love the opportunity to tell my sister's story to the palace, because when you see somebody face to face, I mean, it's one thing to see somebody on a camera, but when you see them face to face, we could really express that emotion and really get across the story that not only she holds, but also so many survivors out there. And if the King is saying he stands with survivors and their victims, then meet with us, have a conversation with us. We're real people with real stories that can affect real change. And I think my sister did something unprecedented that says advocacy can affect change. Advocacy can lead to justice. And it may take a long time, but I would welcome that conversation with the king with open arms. I'd be in London tomorrow.
And Amanda, I assume that would be the same for yourself.
Absolutely. I think we can't solve these issues in silence. We can't solve these issues anymore in the shadows. I think it's so important, as he said, to sit with a survivor and listen to their story. I think that's why her book is so powerful, because it begged on humanity to see the truth, to see these survivors for what really happened to them and who they really are. And we'd absolutely would like that from the king, and we would like that from our own government.
What signal, what message would that send to other people, survivors and victims, who have either already spoken out or as yet don't feel as though they can? What would that mean if such a meeting was to take place?
Your voices are heard. My sister's a testament to that. And the brave survivors, even if Mike Johnson only considers it to be 20, although there are thousands, your voice can be heard. Don't stay in the silence. Don't go by you're giving them the advantage by staying there. All you're doing is allowing them to continue the abuse that they've been doing for years. And I could tell you on a very simple level, the reason my sister came forward was when she held her daughter for the first time. And she said, this evil can never touch this world the way it touched me, to my daughter and to your daughters, to everybody's daughters out there. And I just implore anybody out there that's a victim, this is a win for you too. This is a win. And there is a transition. We wear a butterfly on our chests every single interview, because it really is a transition from a victim to a survivor. And they're two different terms. And I welcome any victim out there. Reach out to us, reach out to other survivors. We're a community and we're here for you. And let's make that transition from a victim to a survivor.
Do you have people reaching out to you?
All the time. I think it's what gives us strength. So many survivors reached out to us last night, and they're so proud of Virginia. And, we told them, we're proud of you too, because she wouldn't have done this without you. She did this for you. And so many of them hadn't met her. And we hear their stories of, I came forward because of her. I told my story because of her. I was able to face my trauma because of her. So, yes, it gives us strength to hear from survivors. We see so much in Virginia in them, and so it also gives us a sense of healing.
We've talked about the king, we've talked about Virginia, we've talked about yourselves. Obviously, Andrew will leave Royal Lodge, he will lose his title as prince. You've kind of talked about you take the wins when they occur. He still is in this equation to some degree, with a lesser degree, but still there. Would you, if he was listening, would you say to him, cooperate? What would you like to see from him? What would you say to him? We talked about the fact that if you'd have a meeting with the king, you would tell your story. What would you say to Andrew?
I would say, and I said this earlier, think of your daughters. They were the same age. Think of what you would do had something like this happen to them. What would you want their perpetrator to do? I think it's far beyond time to come clean. You were best friends with this man, and there are so many things that you could help bring to light. Virginia deserves that, and every single survivor that has been entrapped in that sex trafficking ring deserves that from you. And if you can give an inkling of justice, then it should be on you to do.
And Skye, I think of the connections that individuals such as Andrew have around the world and back to the United States as well. And obviously that's where Epstein spent the vast majority of his time. If Andrew was to cooperate with anything, what do you think that would mean for the wider situation regarding Epstein allegations that surround and allegations that continue?
I think it'd be a very big vindicating moment even for himself. I think it's far beyond where people are seeing through the lies, they're seeing through the gaslighting, and they just want justice for the survivors and for the survivor community. My sister created a movement at this point, and it's not going to stop. So the best case scenario here is to just come clean, have the conversation. You know, that's all a lot of these survivors are looking for many times. We can't even go after a lot of these people because of things like statute of limitations in certain states, and it does vary across, you know, different states and different countries. But the point being is that a big part of this is acknowledgement. And I think if we could just get to that point where these men could acknowledge what they did, you can never take it back. But it is the right thing to do.
You mentioned that you have your own list. What do you mean by that? And you say you would be prepared to utilise it. What would that take and what would that look like?
Well, I want to remind the public out there how dangerous it is for survivors and their families to come forward with a list. Because these people can, one, they're dangerous men and women out there. So it's security for your own life and for your family's life, but it's also that they could sue you into homelessness and basically keep you in the courts for the rest of your days. And, you know, I don't think it's up to the survivor community to do that. Are they prepared to do it? Possibly, but I don't think it's, when are we going to start protecting survivors? They've already done so much. My sister has already pushed this so far forward. When are we going to say it's time for us to take it on our shoulders and start defending these survivors? Start coming forward for them. And you know what? I'm very proud of the UK people, the UK government, the UK king for coming forward and setting a precedent. We've got to put that same pressure on our own government and demand nothing less but to have every single one of these men either A, prosecuted and put behind bars, or B, shamed in the public light so that we know who they are. We know who you are.
Amanda, I don't want to finish with the final thought of the perpetrators. I want to finish with the final thought of those who really matter, those who don't have a voice, those that get overlooked, as you've so often spoken about. What is your final thoughts for those victims, people like your sister-in-law, families like your own? What should people take away? What should they take in their hearts as they continue the rest of the end of their week?
I hope they know how much Virginia loved them, how much she fought for them. I hope they take this as a victory for them too, even if they've never come forward. This is a win for you. We see you, we believe you, we love you, and the world is listening.
And Skye?
I can't say it more beautifully than that. I think it's about time. It's about time. And I think the message we should end on today is exactly what Amanda said. We believe you. We see you. Virginia loved you. We love you. The survivor community loves you. And we're ready. We're ready when you are.
Skye and Amanda Roberts joining us live from Colorado. Really appreciate you sharing your time. Thank you.